Welcome back to a Criminally Basic podcast. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Megan.
So, this week's episode, like I was telling Megan before, it's a weird one, to say the least. Yeah, it's true crime, but there's no murder involved at all. After this, 10 out of 10 recommend you all go watch the documentary. It's just called Tabloid. You can find it at like Hulu, Amazon, you name it, you can find it there. It's a doozy. Okay. And the case we're covering today is from Tabloid. This is the Manacled Mormon case.
Okay.
Keep in mind, well, disclaimer, there's a lot of outdated language and themes throughout this. Not mine, it's them. This is 77 when it was 1977 when this happened, so dear God, everything bad happened in the 70s.
Seriously, I mean, bad stuff happens now, but I feel like you hear about a lot of like your very stereotypical serial killers working in the 70s because they didn't have the technology that we have today. I catch them earlier on.
So, okay, this is off topic, but you had a serial killer on each coast. You had Ted Bundy, son of Sam on one, Ted Bundy on the other, BTK in the middle, Dahmer in the middle.
Well, that's just terrifying.
Yeah. Kemper. There's a bunch of others that happened in the 70s. It's scary.
Mm-hmm.
So this case happened in 1977. Kirk Anderson was kidnapped outside the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on September 14th, 1977 in Inwells, Surrey, England. A fake gun was pointed at him, and he was told to get in a car with a man with a Canadian accent. Who that man was later discovered as Keith Joseph May, who we'll refer to as KJ. The reason he got Kirk out of the building was because he told him he was interested in converting to being a Mormon. When he was in the car, he had been chloroformed and a bag had been put over his head. He was driven 250 miles to a cottage in Devon, D-E-V-O-N? Devon, England. His hands were chained with Smith and Wesson, sorry. I can't even read my own typing sometimes. Smith and Wesson mink-lined handcuffs. This was the 70s. That's not even the weirdest part of the story.
I mean, so far this sounds like your very stereotypical but worst nightmare, like kidnapping.
Yeah, very stereotypical.
I mean, you have the chloroform, you have the bag over the head, you have the literally being chained up. That's terrifying.
It gets worse. Where he was chained to the bedspread eagle with ropes. But first, though, he was tied only by his ankles with a chain, actually rope, but point of the story, chain sounds better, long enough to reach the toilet. But while he was chained spread eagle, he was repeatedly raped by Joyce McKinney. She had said she was going to have sex with him until she missed her period and then hopefully got pregnant by Kirk.
What?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. It gets worse.
How?
Trust me, it does.
Oh God.
Joyce McKinney was Kirk's ex-girlfriend from Utah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's very, She was a former Miss Wyoming World, not the actual Miss Wyoming.
Okay.
She was born in a small town in North Carolina. She has a self-proclaimed IQ of 168.
The self-proclaimed kind of makes that a little less impressive. But if that's true, I mean, dude, good for you.
The thing is, you will learn that Joyce is not very reliable and also batshit crazy.
Oh, great.
Uh-huh. Okay. Kirk was held there for 3 days. He was later released on the third day on grounds they go to London and get married.
This is terrifying.
Oh, it is.
Hannah, this is my worst nightmare.
I know. This is terrifying. And it okay, I'm gonna give something away here, but oh well. It's not a I don't want to say it's not a it's not this lasts multiple years, her obsession with him.
Oh, okay.
You just watch that documentary Tabloid. I literally right now, and I'm going to show you, Megan, and our lovely listeners, please imagine. So, okay. We're going to share screen.
We'll have it on our website if we can.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there we go. These are just the notes I didn't use from the documentary.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And, like, ignore my spelling mistakes. But, like,
as an editor, Hannah,
yeah,
spelling mistakes.
I'm sorry.
So for our listeners, I am a copywriter in my day job, and so
I am not. I am an actress who randomly got a subbing job because she had enough college credits.
Hannah, did you take any English classes?
Yeah, I did with you.
It's true. We were in English together.
Yes. But no, these were just I was
sorry. I don't mean to be laughing. But this documentary.
No, okay. This is what happens when I'm watching something and typing it out.
I mean, like, that's totally fine. You're not.
Yeah, these aren't actual, like, I usually know I'm going to get this off, you're going, the judgment. No, but, like.
Not meaning to, like, judge you.
I know, but, like, I am not an editor, and I'm just, like, put it out there. I'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We have very different skill sets.
We do. Megan's the brains of this operation. And I don't know what I am, but I'm here.
You're the personality.
Thanks, my dude.
You're the one with the flawless eyeliner.
Oh, thanks. That's about the only good thing happening today.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
I know, right? Okay. But no, I was watching the documentary and I was like taking notes as I was doing it. And that's all the stuff I didn't use and that wasn't necessarily relevant. And I still have 6 pages of a document.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And 10 out of 10 just watched the documentary Tabloid, and I've never seen if you want to see delusional in a recorded video, that is Joyce McKinney. You can see delusional. Let me take that back. You'll like figuratively, I can't even English today, but you'll have like figurative of speech being like, oh, they're delusional. Mm-hmm. This woman is actually delusional.
Yeah, this is like clinically
delusional, and that we'll get into all of the rest of the stuff later. It's a time and a half for this story because it's wild, and I told you it was, Megan.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the documentary, she was talking about, oh yeah, she's like, we'll go into town and get married. Into town was 250 miles. It wasn't just a hop and a skip away.
Yeah, that's like a multi-hour
car. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, and she talked about it was just like, oh, we'll be there in 30 minutes. It's fine.
Nope, not how that works, sweetheart. She
needs to learn a lot about that, but oh well. Well, while in London, they're at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Hey, I've been there.
Yeah.
Hard Rock Cafe in London.
I saw it in London, but I did not realize it was like invented in the like 70s plus.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, I've only been to it once.
Yeah. Wait, is this why you texted me about the Hard Rock Cafe?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Because I didn't know it was in a thing in the 70s. I thought it was just something like 2000s or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, also me and Megan went to London together too.
Oh, yeah, we did. That was fun. We weren't in the same class.
No, but we stayed in the same hotel and we didn't do much together, did we? We didn't.
No, we didn't. We didn't really know each other super well at that point. We were kind of more like we had like mutual friends, but we weren't like friends.
We were like friendly, but we weren't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were friendly, but not friends. And yeah, I mean, like, because we would like pass each other and be like, "Oh, hey."
Yeah, and then we had English, but we like you stayed with Trace and I stayed with my friend Jackson the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Back to the story. At the Hard Rock Cafe, Kirk sees his picture on a newspaper, and it's something like Mormon kidnapped, blah blah blah, and he goes like totally white. He said, "Well," he convinces Joyce, be like, "Yo, let me go. I'll go tell them I'm safe, and then we can go and get married." And she fell for it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, she thought, oh, he'll be back soon, blah, blah, blah. He called the police as soon as he was far enough away and told them everything.
Good.
Yeah. Well, the police set up a sting operation to arrest Joyce and KJ. And they were arrested on September 19th. So this case was actually one of the first real cases I could find, and I could be mistaken, but that really brought to the forefront the idea of if men could be raped or not.
Ooh.
And yeah, especially because it's the 70s, forward thinking. I mean, there was a lot in the 70s, but there wasn't, compared to now, it's day and night.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in England, because this is mostly an England story, even though it now has wider range because internet and all that jazz. A lot of people did not believe men could be raped back then.
Yeah.
Dumb 70s stuff, but like, it's the 70s. What can you expect, unfortunately?
Right. I mean, we know now that anyone can be raped, sexually assaulted by anyone.
Yeah.
The way your body reacts does not indicate consent.
Mm-hmm.
Because you may be feeling one way, saying one thing, and your body can react a totally different way because that's what your body does.
Yeah, absolutely. And it in the 70s, I don't think many people believe that, but like, and the sad thing is still a lot of people now don't believe that, unfortunately.
Yeah, saying that I'm trying to think of like a comparison of like
I feel like it's hard to even compare.
It is. I mean, because I've heard people say that like women can't like abuse men.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of in the same vein of like women can't rape men, women can't abuse men, like that's only a man to woman thing, not a woman to man thing. And it's very much not. Anyone can abuse anyone, anyone can sexually assault anyone. It's really I feel like it has become very political, as a lot of things have.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And I don't know. I feel like it's an easy concept.
Yeah.
But
some people unfortunately cannot grasp that. And the thing is, I've talked with like some of my guy friends just about like nature of that stuff, and they'll say they've had stuff happen to them, and then I'll be like, that's not right, and they're like, oh, I guess it's not right.
And it's so sad that, you have to be the one to say, hey, like this wasn't okay, because I mean, and I think this plays into the bigger issue of men are taught to push down their emotions far more than women are.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they may be in this situation and feel like this isn't good, this isn't okay, like I'm not safe, but either think that they are overreacting because, oh, I'm the man in this relationship. Am I am in control. I am okay. When in reality, they're not. And ultimately, that is really unfortunate, because just as women who have been sexually assaulted experience some form of PTSD or like relationship dysfunction or anything like that.
Yes. Okay, if you guys, she has her cup right in front of her face.
Yeah, I have a giant mug of tea because my voice is still kind of recovering from the show that I was in, because Heather freaking destroyed my voice.
Whose voice doesn't it destroy?
Right?
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm sitting cross-legged in an armchair like a goblin.
We are both looking like goblins today because oh, okay, I'm sorry to cut you off. Very valid point. It just, I heard the echo and I needed to stop it.
All right. Let's get back to our conversation of equality.
Yes.
Because equality includes both men and women.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, this is going into the topic, but also going back into the story. A lot of people, in the media, most people did, but a lot of people in the media didn't believe it happened because, okay, Kirk was 6'3", almost 300 pounds, and Joyce was about my size.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's a tiny lady.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a very big man, so people were like, well, he's huge and she's so small, he could have stopped it easily.
No, it could still happen.
Yeah, it still could. And the thing is, it was KJ that got him out there.
Mm-hmm.
And KJ, he was an average sized man, but anyone any size will do anything if you have a gun pointed to them.
No matter how small you are, if you have a gun pointed at you, if you're being chained up, that's pretty scary, no matter how large you are.
Yeah, and the thing is, after they got him into the cottage and tied him to the bed, he couldn't do anything, so what's the point?
You can't just expect him to Hulk out and rip the ropes or the chains or whatever.
Yeah, because, okay, how do I say this? He wasn't Hulk, muscly. He was, just tall. Yeah. So there was no way you could expect him to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. And another thing with the British tabloids, so they couldn't understand why she was so obsessed with this man. Because, okay, I hate to call anyone ugly.
Mm-hmm.
But he was not that cute. He was not.
He was not your stereotypically attractive guy.
Yes. So people were like, oh, she's a pretty blonde. Why him?
Yeah.
Well, Joyce's story was drastically different than Kirk's.
Of course it was.
Kirk's, but yeah, drastically different. She claimed that they did call him out to say, oh, KJ wanted to become a Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
What Joyce said was KJ went up to him when he came out and was like, oh, Joyce is in the car. So he gave his friend the keys and said, I'm going to go to the car. I'll be right back. So he went with KJ and got in the car with Joyce willingly.
No.
no. Oh no, it gets worse what Joyce's version of events was. Joyce then said she described their time at the cottage like a honeymoon.
Sorry, I was gonna make a comment of, you don't tie people up during your honeymoon.
That might happen somewhere.
You don't non-consensually tie someone up during your honeymoon. That is a choice you all want to make. You make it. I don't want to talk about it, but
you need to consensually do that. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to make you very uncomfortable what I'm about to say next. She said the reason she tied him up was it was in some Christian book for virgins about exercises you would like to do for your honeymoon, or something about like helping them get through this, some like bullshit. I don't like.
Sorry,
like,
what?
Yeah, no, it was
to help them get through like their first time.
Yeah.
Tie them down.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That's not how that works.
No, but that's what she said.
I can't think of I mean, granted, I have not read any Christian books for virgins that are like explaining how to sex, but
I don't think that's in it. Well,
I will bet everything. I will bet my cat on that.
Don't bet Louisa.
No, I can't lose Louisa.
That's something else that's not that precious bean.
I will bet my apartment, because this apartment is not precious to me.
Okay, do it.
I will bet a lot of money for that is not a thing.
Yeah.
PSA for all of our listeners, if you're with someone and one of them is a virgin, don't tie them up.
Unless they ask willingly and consensually.
Like, see, we are all about consent here. Like, do what you want to do.
Just consensually.
Consent to it. Exactly.
Just
verbal consent. Verbal consent. Communicate. Ask your partner, hey, do you want to do this? And if they say yes, great. If they don't, then don't do it. It's not hard.
It's not that hard. Like, dudes, I don't... Okay.
Continuing on.
She had told people that Kurt was brainwashed by this cult, blah, blah, blah. She even, apparently, I could be wrong, but Mormon missionaries have these sacred garments things. I cannot explain it good. Just look it up somewhere. But it's a sacred garment they wear to keep. From the way they said it in the documentary, they had an ex-Mormon come and explain it. It was like, if you have these on, God will protect you, basically.
Okay.
From my understanding of it. And so she ripped those off of him and burnt them.
Oh.
Yeah, so no bueno.
Yeah.
She had thought Kirk was going to come back to her and all that blah, blah, blah stuff. But, like, that's not how it happened, my dude.
No.
Well, okay. And I'm very sorry this episode seems very scattered, but this story is very scattered. And that I cannot help. Okay. In the documentary, they ask Joyce if a woman could rape a man, and she said no. She said, and I quote, "It's like putting a marshmallow in a parking meter."
What?
Yeah. Okay, I am the queen of saying weird, like, Southern phrases.
Yes, you are.
Very true, I am. That, I've never heard of that. I don't know how that is made. Like,
what does that even mean?
I don't even know what it means.
So they asked
Joyce in the documentary, the people doing it.
Okay. So the documentary people, not any like legal person.
No.
Okay. I was about to get real upset that they asked the perpetrator if this could happen and not the victim.
No, but like she says some other stuff to. Yeah, just continue before I say anymore.
Yeah. No, that is the weirdest phrase.
Yeah.
I have heard in a long time.
I'm going to say some more weird stuff in this.
I'm ready.
And it's not even me wording it.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt. God, this woman. Oh, God. Yeah. Okay, she then went on to... Okay, Joyce is very bad for saying, like, the same thing 2 or 3 times in a row, just different wording. She then went on to say, if a guy wants to have sex or he doesn't, or a guy has an erection or he doesn't. Which all of that just truly was, like, disgusting to me. I'm like...
not how that works.
Not how that works, my dude. I'm like...
You can't control your body's natural reactions.
Yeah. And, like, I know this is the 70s, but, like, still, though, no. No. Okay, well, after her, the thing is, I don't know much about KJ, and finding stuff about KJ in this was, like, he's almost like he disappeared then reappeared in the thin air.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's so weird. Never mind. Okay. Well, she spent 3 months in it's called Hollow Prison in London. It's a famous woman's prison. There is actually a famous picture of her looking out of a police van window, like holding a piece of paper, and we'll put that on the website, saying, Kirk left willingly.
Kirk left willingly?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did leave willingly.
Yeah. But, like...
What's that supposed to get across?
No, like, that he left the kidnapping willingly. Yeah.
I interpreted that as he left her.
He did leave her willingly.
Yeah, he did. I was like, he did leave her willingly. What does that even mean? But no, he left with her to go to the cabin willingly.
Well, it's technically cottage, but like same difference.
Cottage, it's
Welling. Yeah. Okay. That piece of paper she got, and she explained it in the documentary. She got that piece of paper from the back of a Bible. She wrote 2 letters, one to her parents and one to the press, and she got those letters out by sticking them up her... I'm sorry, this is graphic. Up her vagina and then one up her rectum.
What?
Yeah. Don't ask me how, because I don't want to know.
No, I don't want to know either. Why? That's what I want to know. I want to know why.
I don't know. You would think they would let you have just a piece of paper with a note on it. Like, I don't know how prison works in England or US, but like...
I mean, based on my knowledge of at least the United States prison system, everything is taken away from you when you enter.
But needing to go to a hearing.
Okay. So why go through the trouble of doing that?
I don't know.
I'm thoroughly flabbergasted.
Oh, Megan, honey. It gets worse.
How does it get worse than paper up your butt?
It gets worse.
How?
It does if you'll let me tell this story.
Oh, do it.
Yay. Okay. Joyce and KJ's bail hearing was set on December 7th, 1977. There's a video of her going into the court, or I don't know if they call it anything different in England, but like going into the court, and she sees Kirk, and then there's a bunch of like media cameras there, and she's like, she literally screams, "Ayers priest," and it's referring to Kirk, "fears excommunication, let the public know." Because she's saying he went willingly with her, and he's afraid of getting excommunicated because they had sex. Sex, air quotation marks.
Right. I'm upset. I'm just sitting here and I'm upset.
Oh, I'm sorry. It gets worse. We got 2.5 pages left.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. This was actually shocking. Her lawyers let her take the stand.
Oh no.
Yeah. Her statement for the court lasted, guess how long?
Oh man, an hour?
Close, 55 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. A long time. But legitimately though, the judge or magistrate, I think, one of the two, I literally had to stop her multiple times and be like, yo, I'm lost. I don't like, because it was just so confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Because she would say one thing, say another. It wasn't contradictory sentences, but it was just...
It was confusing.
Yeah, very confusing. And she said in court one day, and this is a statement that is kind of famous over in England, and she said, when talking about her love for Kirk, "I loved him so much I would have skied down Mount Everest nude with a carnation up my nose."
Again, what does that even mean?
I don't know, but like...
What's with her and shoving things in places they shouldn't be?
Oh my god! I don't know. And that's not a Southern thing. That's just a her thing.
No.
But yeah, no, with her saying that and just being how weird and how she was, this literally, it became like, I don't want to say the trial of the century, because it wasn't a trial, it was just a bail hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. But with all of that, the judge did have a hard time, like, I hate to use the word comprehending, but that's the word I'm going to use for this. Because in the books and stuff, there wasn't anything about women raping men. And I got this from one of my sources. I'll put it in the website. The quote says, "Under the Sexual Offenses Act of 1956, then enforced in the United Kingdom, because of the victim's gender, there was no crime of rape committed, though indecent assault of a man can apply." So they technically couldn't get her for rape, even though that's what it was, because of a law that was, yeah. Then, though, the Scotland Yard didn't want to give her bail because they were afraid she would flee the country. But the courts decided to let her out on bail.
Did she flee the country?
We'll get to that.
Oh my...
Yeah. Okay. Once out of prison, she became a celebrity over there.
What?
Yeah. As I will state in the next few sentences I have, she was brought to the bed and breakfast she was staying at from prison in a limousine. Yeah, in the room she was staying in, the whole room was filled with pink carnations.
Why?
People were obsessed with her. There was like thousands of letters. She was going to write a book. And this is the disgusting part. People were asking for autographs, and then some guys would like come and say, "Oh, you can kidnap and rape me anytime you want." Like, yeah, no, it's disgusting.
I'm
Like, honestly, it sounds like a big fucking joke.
how, what?
Like, literally, if you just like told me this without looking it up, I'd be like, that's a funny joke. Like
that's not, this can't, I have no words.
Yeah.
I really have
Like,
no words.
I would think this is like someone trying to tell like a sick, twisted, like joke horror story if you were telling me all this.
Right. It's like the people who are genuinely in love with like Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, like the like Charles Manson, like the really big name serial killers, where it goes beyond just like an interest in their lives and what made them do what they do. It's a genuine like
There's a medical term for it, but I don't remember what that term is. And yeah, it's scary. It's like makes me really worried about people, because if you can justify what like Ted Bundy can do, like what is going on in your head?
yeah, really.
Okay, they like newspapers in England brought her to movie premieres. They like would rent Rolls Royces for her, and they literally upstaged Joan Collins. Yeah, no, it keeps getting worse. She partied with John Travolta. She danced with the Bee Gees. She has pictures of Keith Moon, and Keith Moon came up to her and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to kiss you," and did it. Like, the British public was obsessed with her.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if they were just like, how do I word it? It's going to sound horrible, and I'm very sorry, but like, obsessed because they're like, oh, no way a girl like that could do something to like such an ugly guy. Like, not what I'm like. That's not what I believe. That's just what I'm saying.
Right. I am.
We're not even done.
Oh my God.
It gets worse. You're gonna love this, Meg. Gonna love it, Megan.
Okay, I'm preparing myself.
You should. Not long after the premieres and all the parties and stuff, her and KJ fled the country, just like Scotland Yard thought they would.
Of course they did!
Of course! Okay. Brace yourself again, Megan.
Oh my, okay.
She got the birth certificates of 2 dead people. She said she didn't think they would mind.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that's how they got their travel visas to leave the United Kingdom. But one good thing is and this is kind of time jumping here, on July 18th, 1979, KJ and Joyce were both arrested in the United States by the FBI on charges of making false statements in order to obtain a passport.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years later, but
So birth certificates?
Yeah.
Of dead people. Because they didn't think they would mind.
Yep. And like, okay, we're going to talk about how horrible their disguises were. Oh God, it's throughout this story, they do a lot of different disguises, and they're both culturally insensitive and just terrible altogether.
Great.
Yeah, okay, so this one, Joyce had a granny wig. It was like kind of grandma looking hair, a fat suit, put on fake glasses. KJ dyed his hair black, put on a fake mustache, and darkened his skin. And he's did that multiple times.
I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not either. One time they were meeting a reporter to sell their story in the U.S., And instead of coming like normal people, because they're, back in the US, it should be fine, they came in an Indian, not like Native American Indian, but
So Indian, like culturally Indian.
Culturally Indian. And like blackface, doing terrible Indian accents. It was like very racist, very just terrible. Okay, and we're not even, that's just one. Back to the one you're talking about, and I'm sorry, this is very all over the place, but this whole story is all over the place, so that's not my fault, that's their fault. That sounded like I was victim blaming, but I'm culprit blaming.
Yeah, culprit blame.
Besides that, they entered the US through Canada, so they didn't even go straight to the US. They're like, okay, Canada, US. And they had a sign, they put signs on them that said, I am deaf, but I can read lips. Please enunciate your words and speak clearly.
But they weren't deaf.
No. Nope.
I'm rolling my eyes so hard.
Oh, it gets worse, Megan.
How does it keep getting worse? What? How do these people exist?
I don't know, but they do, and it's weird. Okay. Okay. And this is a little something. I thought I was the queen of overpacking because 99% of the time I am. She had 13 suitcases.
What?
13! Coming back from England. I don't know how that is not suspicious enough.
No, that's, I mean, granted, if you're like moving like all of your stuff.
Yeah.
But they were fleeing.
They were fleeing. She brought that with her to England too.
Oh my gosh.
And like one of those bags was just newspaper clippings of her.
That is so narcissistic.
Yeah, no, she's had like, throughout the documentary, there was like her talking about how she had boxes and boxes of like stuff of hers that was like plastered on newspapers or magazines or yeah. Some of the things she came to England with was a wedding dress and wedding rings and all kinds of stuff to play house.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. Now we're jumping around again. I'm sorry, my dudes. So the British public kind of had three theories up to what happened. The first was Joyce's version was right. And a side note from me, I do not for a second believe that any of that happened. Not for a second. Okay, the second version is that all of Kirk's version was correct, and I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third is a somewhat in-between version, and that is that Kirk went willingly for a tiny bit, but then there's a point where it turned not consensual, and then which I don't entirely believe, but that's way more believable than the first option.
Right. My thought process kind of goes to why would he have a reason to lie in the first place?
Yeah, but I'm not saying he did it. This is what he did. I'm just saying as what some people thought was he didn't want to get kicked out of the church because of that, excommunicated, so he's like, I'm going to lie and say that happened. Which I don't believe that. I do believe it actually happened. Mm-hmm. But that's just what, from multiple sources in the documentary and then other places, that's what they believed. Not everyone, I'm not saying everyone believed that, but certain groups of people did believe that. Well, we're going to time jump a little again. Okay. In 1984, McKinney was yet again arrested for allegedly stalking Kirk at his workplace in Utah. Yeah.
Of course.
And Kirk was married with kids now, all that good jazz.
Yeah.
When they searched her car, guess what they found in it?
Did they find a murder kit or something?
Partial murder, Kit.
God, what is up with this human?
I don't know. She's crazy. But no, they found ropes and handcuffs, and she claims, oh, like I was just, it's a public airport. I was just flying out, blah, blah, blah.
You don't bring ropes and handcuffs to a public airport.
No.
What the heck?
No, you don't do that. And like, oh God, in the documentary, she kept going on and on about how like she saw Kirk's new wife and she's like, she's so ugly, she's so fat, like, and I'm like, ma'am.
Yeah.
And like, first off, how do you know what his wife looks like unless you're stalking him?
Right.
This isn't, there's no technology then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's just like the main part. Now we're just going to get into updates to where they are now. Dear God, and that's a whole. Okay, well, KJ died in 2004. I could not find on the internet what he died from, and it was like I said, he just kind of appeared and then disappeared. I think he was an architect, and like they really don't even know why he was so willing to help Joyce with all that stuff. Because earlier in it, they hired 2 people to come with them, a pilot and a bodyguard.
To go and do the kidnapping?
Yeah, with them. Well, they didn't tell him it was a kidnapping. They're like, oh, we're going to rescue my fiance from a cult.
Oh.
Yeah. And after they got there and they're like, oh, this is what they're doing, they both left.
Did they not, like, report it to the police or anything?
I don't think they did. I think they're just like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And then they tried to interview Kirk for all this documentary and stuff, and he's like, nope, I don't want anything to do with it, which I cannot blame him at all.
No, absolutely not. After a really horrible, traumatic thing like that happens to you, especially when it's drawn out over years and it's all over the media, I definitely don't blame him for not wanting to relive that.
Nope. Okay. Well, let's get into good old lovely Joyce's. What Joyce is up to through 2000 and something till now. So, okay. Joyce was not in the media for a long time, but she later came into the media spotlight again after a South Korean scientist cloned her dog.
Whoa, okay.
Which that's kind of cool. But cloned her dog for guess the price, because
Do you say guess the price?
Yeah.
$100,000.
Close $150,000.
I'm getting close today with these prices and...
Yeah. If only the rest of her days would go better.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no. Cloning her dog for that much money, that's more than my whole college education.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, she tried to hide it was her, but she didn't do a good job of hiding it. The only thing she did to hide it was go by her middle name.
Okay.
Yeah. Not actually trying to hide it.
Yeah.
But she did get 5 dogs. They're really cute. But let's keep on with the Joyce update. They're hella long, I'm sorry. Joyce, after all this documentary and stuff, she filed a lawsuit against Errol Morris, who is an Oscar-winning film director who made this movie. The full quote is, because I can't even paraphrase this, it's, dear God. In January 2016, McKinney filed a lawsuit against Morris claiming that she had been misrepresented in the film. Me, as Hannah talking now, I don't see how when you said it word for word.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Okay, back to the quote. And that Morris and others related to the documentary production had broken into her home, stolen personal items related to the case, and threatened the life of her service dog if McKinney did not sign release papers allowing them to use her footage for the film. Legal representation for Morris stated, evidence will show that McKinney willingly, in fact, eagerly participated in the lengthy interview that is featured in the film. Morris in an interview later stated that the year that the charges had been dismissed as frivolous. Joyce, then going by the name Joyce Anderson, if you know whose name that is, Kirk Anderson's.
Oh man, I didn't even make that connection.
Yep. Then was working as a real estate agent in North Carolina.
Oh.
Oh no, it gets worse. Okay, oh dear God, okay. She then later became homeless in California.
From coast to coast.
Yeah. Something that was really sad though, and we are not including this in the website, it's actually really sad, is like it looks like paparazzi pictures, but I don't think it's actually paparazzi. I unfortunately stumbled upon this, but it was her half naked outside her van, like just doing whatever, but like she's naked from the waist down, and it's just so sad.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, but okay, this part makes me really mad, even though the rest of it made me really mad. This also makes me really mad because, yeah, the dogs that she got cloned and loved so much and spent so much money on. And this is from one of the articles in there. My sources. Stacy Wood Levin, a senior animal control officer for the Burbank Animal Shelter. We've had many conduct calls on these animals over the years, referring to Joyce's pups that were cloned. There were actually 5 of them in total. 2 of them were euthanized for health and behavioral reasons. 1 is in an animal shelter up for adoption right now, or it may already be adopted. It was late 2019 when the article was posted, so hopefully that sweet boy or girl, it didn't say which one. Well, it probably did, I just can't remember. Is hopefully adopted, and we couldn't find anything out about the other 2, and that's real sad.
Oh.
Yeah, poor puppers.
Yeah.
Okay, and this, if you thought, okay, well, I'm going to save the really worst part for last, but this whole fucking thing is so terrible, and it keeps getting worse the more I go on. So Joyce, as of 2020, is living in a mental health facility after being declared not competent to stand trial for the hit-and-run death of a 91-year-old Holocaust survivor. Yeah. And, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm very sorry. It's Gennady.
Gennady?
I'm not really sure how to pronounce. I'm not going to lie. Bolsky.
That's awful.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. And they were expecting him to at least live to 100.
Oh my God.
She took that away from him.
That's awful.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Okay, and so that is the very wild ride of the Manacled Mormon case. And the thing is, I'm sure I'm missing God knows what else to this story because there's so much to it, and it's just so all over and out. It doesn't make sense. You need, I've known about this case for years, and I've watched the documentary Tabloid 2 or 3 times at least, and it still does not make sense. None of it does.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to a Criminally Basic podcast. If you want to find more, find us at a Criminally Basic podcast on Instagram and Twitter.
And check out our sources as well as photos on our website, acriminallybasicpodcast.com.